Senator Hirono just delivered a surgical takedown that exposed the hollowing out of America's premier law enforcement agency. When the FBI director can't or won't answer basic questions about mass departures, reassigned counterterrorism experts, and gutted cyber divisions, you're witnessing the systematic dismantling of national security infrastructure in real time.
FBI counterterrorist special agents and investigators were reassigned to assist with immigration enforcement. Reportedly, these counterterrorism experts were returned to the jobs they trained for in late January after Iran threatened to retaliate for our strikes on their nuclear facilities. Have those experts remained in the jobs they trained for since that time? Yes or no?
FBI agents' primary responsibility is exactly what they are assigned to do. We always work with our
So since they
interagency
returned to their positions,
If you're not
are
going to
they
let
still
me
in
answer,
those
why don't you
positions?
just do your soliloquy in the 4.5 minutes you have
I am
left?
not asking for a soliloquy. It's just a yes or no. Are those people who were returned to their jobs still in those jobs? Yes or no?
They never left.
What was that?
They never left their primary job. It is a surge of resources in law enforcement working with the interagency to combat violent crime and reduce
They were
violent
never,
crime in
okay, they were never
historic
reassigned to do immigration.
proportions.
That's your testimony. Okay, Director Patel, the FBI is also the lead federal agency for investigating cyber attacks and
Yes.
cyber intrusions, both by foreign nation states and by non-state hacker groups. Since President Trump's inauguration, the executive assistant director in charge of the criminal and cyber branch and the head of the FBI's cyber division have both left the FBI. What are the names of the people who replace them in those positions?
The cyber branch is one of the most impressive at the FBI. 409 arrests this year, 169 convictions. That's a 42% increase from the same time last year.
It's that
So
branch,
any
Mr.
suggestion that
Patel.
the FBI cyber division is not operating at full capacity and better than ever before, the leadership at the branch is implementing these changes necessary to attack the cyber and ransomware infrastructure operators
You know
for Iran,
why
China,
they're
and Russia.
important? I want to know who has those positions, since the people who originally were there.
Supremely
Are no longer
qualified
there.
individuals have those positions.
Are they?
Supremely qualified
Who
individuals.
are they? What are the names?
You're not
You
getting
don't
them.
know. Special agents who investigate cybercrime were also reassigned for immigration enforcement. Have those expert investigators returned to their duties? Yes or no?
All agents remained on their primary duties while surging to allocate resources for interagency operations to the Homeland Security task forces across this country.
So are you?
Am I what?
See, I'm not getting the yes or no answers. I get all this explanation. So there you go.
No, you get the work that
Are
the men
you
and women of the
planning
FBI are doing. And you don't want that.
additional personnel cuts to the cyber division in the future?
The only people that will be terminated at the FBI will be those that violate their oath of office or fail to meet the high standards at the FBI.
Director Patel, the FBI is meant to be the tip of the spear in combating terrorism against the United States from both foreign and domestic sources. It's also our lead agency in fighting the hackers who target our businesses and critical infrastructure. But instead of a specialized role fighting these kinds of terrorists, hackers, and spies, you have the FBI playing the role of local police and helping with immigration enforcement. I'm going to move on to my you've been asked some questions about changes to your hiring standard, and including college degrees and possibly the age. But one question I had is that you are now requiring applicants to be able to do a certain kind of pull-ups, which a lot of women cannot because of physiological differences. Are you requiring these kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring a physical program at BFTC at Quantico because FBI agents carrying guns in the field have to chase down bad guys and do really hard work. The physical fitness standards of those agents
So
are
are
being
you requiring
appropriately
these
assessed.
kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring everybody to pass the 1811 standards at BFTC. If you want to chase down a bad guy
Excuse me,
and put
the
him in
reason I
handcuffs, you
ask-
better be able to do a pull-up.
The reason I ask is that there are concerns about whether or not being able to do these kinds of harsh pull-ups is really required of FBI agents.
Doing
Anyway,
one pull-up
Mr.
is not
Patel,
harsh,
I
and there are
am
always
greatly
medical
concerned.
exemptions to that.
I am gravely concerned by the state of the FBI under your control. And in fact, you are willing to take a cut in your agency of almost $500 million. So the FBI is losing dedicated employees, decades of expertise and specialization, leading to loss to early retirements, firings, and reassignments to immigration enforcement or conducting local police work. Thousands have already left. For as long as you remain as the head of the FBI, I fear the number of departures and summary firings will continue to grow. Mr. Patel, before the vote on your nomination of this committee, I noted that your most significant qualification, this is not just something that I noted, but others, your most significant
Actually gets this place going.
qualification was your 100% loyalty to President Trump. And I fear that that continues to be the motivating factor in your position as FBI director. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
May I, Mr. Chairman?
Director Patel, did you have
Yes.
anything you wanted to say now?
That is an entire falsehood. You can delete my 16 years of government service to multiple administrations all you want. The fact is that I was a public defender. I was a national security prosecutor. I was a House intelligence staffer. I was a deputy director of intelligence. I was a chief of staff to the Department of Defense and the Secretary of Defense. I led the counterterrorism missions for the White House. Those are just some of the jobs I held in my 16-year career. There was no loyalty then. There's no loyalty now to anything but the Constitution.
Senator Brett.
Yes, well, before I begin, I want to thank Senator Hirono for what she said, acknowledging that there are physical differences between men and women. Talking about that women wouldn't be able to do as many pull-ups, and I think that she was making a case here that there should be different standards. There's a thing called Title IX, and this is why we continue to say we should have biological men and men's sports and biological women and women's sports. And so I look forward to utilizing that to talk to all of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. Maybe they will stand with us in helping us protect women's sports. I think she made a great argument there for it. Moving on to
What Senator Hirono accomplished wasn't political theater. It was methodical exposure of institutional collapse disguised as reform. Her questioning revealed crises that should alarm anyone who understands national security. Patel's evasion pattern tells us everything about transparency under his leadership. When asked for workforce numbers, he deflected. When pressed about leadership departures, he offered platitudes about loyalty oaths. When questioned about personnel moves, he accused Hirono of seeking media hits. This isn't bureaucratic caution. It's deliberate opacity, hiding institutional disruption. Despite his non-answers, thousands of FBI employees have left since January. Yet Patel claims every field office received plus-ups. The math doesn't work unless you're moving people like chess pieces while losing institutional memory. Executive assistant directors for national security, intelligence, and cyber operations have departed, the people who coordinate with foreign services and defend infrastructure. Patel's responses reveal the underlying philosophy. He emphasized departures were either voluntary retirements or terminations for failing standards and loyalty requirements. This signals a shift from merit-based evaluation to ideological conformity. When career professionals suddenly fail standards, the standards have changed. Reassigning counterterrorism and cyber specialists to immigration enforcement represents profound misunderstanding of specialized law enforcement. These agents spend years developing sources and technical skills. Pulling experts from specialized roles breaks continuity for long-term investigations. Patel's refusal to name people running critical divisions, claiming he wouldn't provide targets for attack, suggests replacements lack credentials or the administration views oversight as hostile. The physical fitness discussion illuminates the broader approach. Patel's insistence on pull-ups to chase down bad guys reduces complex law enforcement to action movie tropes. FBI agents analyze records, conduct interviews, and build court cases. Hirono's point about accepting a $500 million budget cut highlighted the contradiction between claiming improved performance and accepting reduced resources. You don't cut funding from high-performing agencies unless planning fundamental change. When counterterrorism agents leave, terrorist networks notice. When cyber experts are reassigned, hackers adapt. When intentional memory walks out, investigations collapse. Foreign intelligence services study these changes for capability gaps. Patel's defensive response avoided addressing specific concerns. No one questioned his resume. They questioned his leadership and willingness to prioritize political loyalty over professional competence. The real test isn't whether Patel can recite credentials, but whether the FBI can maintain specialized capabilities distinguishing federal from local police work. Hirono's questions suggest the answer is doubtful, and Patel's evasions confirm the public isn't supposed to know what's being lost. This wasn't about partisan attacks, it was about institutional accountability facing systematic change affecting national security. When oversight becomes impossible, the public loses ability to assess whether agencies serve justice or power.